Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving right into something that is honestly out of sight and totally out of mind for most of us, until, disaster strikes. We're talking about the health of your home's plumbing. Specifically, we're going to demystify your main sewer line. We're breaking down the actual science of maintaining it using direct professional insights from the folks at Dr. Drain to give you a true diagnostic guide for your property.
So let's just get right to the million-dollar question. How often should you actually be rotting your main line? If you go out and ask a dozen different neighbors, you're probably going to get a dozen completely different answers. Someone says every year, another says every 5 years, someone else says never. But what does the data from plumbing experts actually tell us? Well, the crazy thing is, the answer isn't based on a calendar at all. If you're treating your mainline maintenance like, say, an annual oil change for your car, you might be going about it all wrong. Okay, let's dive into this and make sure we have our baseline established so we're all on the same page. What exactly is this process? According to the experts at Dr. Drain, mainline rotting, which sometimes you'll hear called drain or sewer line jetting, is a highly specific service. It's used to break up or remove obstructions in a home's main sewer line. That line is basically the critical artery connecting all your household pipes directly to the municipal sewer or your septic system. Now, to be super clear, we really need to separate a localized problem from a systemic one. Mainline rotting is definitely not your routine bathroom sink or bathtub cleaning. When you pull a clump of hair out of the shower drain, you're dealing with a surface-level issue. Mainline work, on the other hand, only comes into play when the evidence points to a massive blockage located much, much further down, deep within your home's infrastructure. It requires specialized, heavy-duty tools and a really strategic approach. Section 1. Spotting the warning signs. So, if we're not using a calendar to schedule this heavy-duty work, how on earth do we know when it's time? Well, I want you to start thinking of your house like a patient, right? A patient doesn't usually just spontaneously fail. They show early symptoms first, and catching those symptoms early is the absolute hallmark of a smart homeowner. You definitely don't want to wait for a catastrophic full house backup. Instead, use this as your mental checklist. Are you seeing multiple drains backing up at the exact same time? Like your toilet and your bathroom sink acting up together? Are you getting repeated clogs in the same week? Or maybe just really slow drainage that literally laughs at your plunger? Listen to your house too. Are you hearing weird gurgling sounds in the toilet when you run the sink? Smell around your drains or the outdoor cleanout for any foul odors. You might even see water actually pooling out in the yard. If you're checking these boxes, your main line is basically begging for help. Section 2. Common causes of clogs. Okay, so once we've identified the symptoms, the next logical step is to figure out why this is happening. Abstract plumbing concepts can be kind of hard to visualize, but the things destroying your main line are actually tangible, everyday elements. First up, solidified grease and cooking residue. When you wash that down the kitchen sink, it cools and hardens inside the pipes over time. Next, tree roots. Nature is just relentless, right? Roots seek out water, infiltrate tiny joints or cracks in older pipes, and expand, literally strangling the flow. Then we have poor flushing habits, flushing things that simply don't break down. And finally, just mineral scale and general buildup, which naturally happens over the years. Basically, your daily habits and your landscaping directly impact your deep plumbing. Section 3. High risk versus low risk. And this brilliantly illustrates why context matters so much. Not all houses are created equal. On one side, we have higher risk homes. These are usually properties with older pipes. Think cast iron or clay, which wear down and crack. Add in mature trees with deep roots, heavy daily water usage, and a known history of clogs. For these homes, getting a proactive professional assessment every couple of years just makes sense. But on the other hand, you have newer homes. These usually have much smoother, modern pipes, really stable performance, and no history of backups. For this group, maintenance is totally event-triggered. You only call the pros when a specific event, like a sudden clog, actually happens. I absolutely have to highlight this quote from the Dr. Drain experts because it completely shatters that one-size-fits-all calendar myth. It says, unnecessary cleanings can add cost without improving reliability. Simply guessing your schedule or paying for rotting when your pipes are perfectly fine is literally just flushing your hard-earned money down the drain. Section 4. What to expect during service. Let's move to the actual procedure. Say you've evaluated your risk, spotted the warning signs, and a professional says, yep, rotting is the right prescription. What actually happens next? Well, let's take the anxiety right out of it. It's a precise 3-step process. Step 1 is diagnosis. They use awesome inspection tools like tiny cameras to find the exact location and nature of the blockage. Step 2 is the intervention, carefully clearing that obstruction to get things flowing again while making sure not to damage the pipes. But Step 3 is where the real magic happens. A A follow-up camera inspection determines if this was just a fluke one-time clog or part of a recurring nightmare, like a failing joint or a massive root intrusion. And depending on what that crucial third step reveals, you might actually need to pivot your strategy. Look, for some properties, paying for mainline rotting every single year is like putting a Band-Aid on a broken arm. It doesn't make sense. Instead, you want long-term fixes. That could mean professional root management, or just completely changing how your family deals with grease and disposal, or even making targeted permanent repairs to the broken pipe sections. You gotta cure the disease, not just treat the symptom, right? So, if you take only one single thing away from our explainer today, please let it be this. Take action based on risk, not guesswork. The absolute best, most reliable approach to your home's main line is symptom and risk driven. By knowing your specific risk category and actively keeping an eye out for those early warning signals, you literally stop tiny clogs from turning into incredibly disruptive, insanely expensive disasters. Which leaves us with a pretty important question to ask yourself right now. Look around your property. Think about the age of your pipes, those big trees in your front yard, or maybe that weird gurgling sound you definitely ignored last Tuesday. Is your home showing early warning signs, or have you just been guessing at your plumbing maintenance this whole time? It is definitely time to evaluate your own home's risk profile, so you can call your local pro and finally ask them the right questions. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer. Now go check those drains.